it's nice to be here. As a board member, you're not so visible normally, as in this case. Corporate responsibility is an increasingly important topic also at the board. It is closely related to risk analysis, to risk management, matters that we as a board have dealt with in a structured way for quite some time. Then in Tele2, it is the task of the advisory board, the advisory committee, the audit committee, to dig deeper into our risk assessment procedures. And therefore, it is by no accident that two of the members of the audit committee, namely John Sheshaft here and myself, together with Mia Brunell of Kinnevik, form the special advisory group for CR issues. We meet regularly during the year to discuss progress in different areas, to follow up on specific projects, to discuss the CR reporting, to discuss the code of conduct and other issues. And of course, we report back to the full board. I would say that lately we have had in focus specifically two areas. One being what Mats touched upon, namely preserving the integrity of customer data in our systems. We believe it's a very important topic. And secondly, to discuss under which circumstances do local authorities in other countries where we operate have access to our networks. Both issues have substantial potential for, let's say, for risk or problem creation for us. Now, personally, I'd like to add that I come from a somewhat skeptical view of ethical companies. And maybe that is because of I'm older than all of you here. So I just want to set some basics. A company is governed by its bylaws, which typically specify which purpose the company is pursuing. It is a legal unit that is created to produce a business, to make a business, and to deliver results to its owners. As such, it does not have, as a legal unit, a specific moral dimension. Certainly, the people engaged in the company are guided by moral values. Which is very important, specifically when it comes to people making decisions on behalf of the company. Apart from being governed by its bylaws, I would say any decent, serious company is, of course, following all relevant laws and regulations in the countries where we operate. I refer to things you already said here: labor laws, environmental laws, anti-corruption laws, rules on insider trading and conflict of interest, and that kind of matters. Tele2 is a serious and decent company. So far, I think issues are quite clear. The thing is that stakeholders today demand much more. Stakeholders today expect a behavior that is beyond company bylaws and common law. And with stakeholders, I mean, of course, our customers, our employees, and our investors. So the question here is, how far do we go as a company? How much do we think that our customers are prepared to pay for us advancing human rights in faraway countries? How important is it for employees to work for a company that has high ethical standards? We saw from this chart, it's very important. So that's a good answer already there. And when it comes to investors, how much are investors prepared to spend on Tele2 advancing human rights over the world? Many would say that This type of job is the task of the United Nations, of the European Union, of individual governments, of international organizations, and not necessarily for a company like ours. So we have decided to measure these things, and we have tried to find a model. We believe that we have found a model as a basis for decision making. So we support now a model developed by Ascus, the consultancy company, that identifies and evaluates risk and rewards related to CR issues. A base study that is a crucial part of the model has been completed during March this year. It's absolutely recent. It involves 7,000 people, as you see here, from the different parts of the Swedish society. It measures how stakeholder attitudes and behaviors are influenced by how companies handle different CR issues. It studies 12 different areas, of which we have measured so far 8. Typically areas like minimum wages, child labor, corruption, data integrity, and so on. In each case, there has been measured the results of 2 types of behavior. One where you follow established, what you expect is established ethical norms, and then you would be expected to, you would be considered ethical by most people. The other is where you do not live up to established norms, and then you're considered a non-ethical company, and you will see what happens in that case here. So we can see here long and short-term effects of the behavior. When it comes to the left-hand part of the image, which is about opinions from the people interviewed, this is how they react, their attitude to the company, if you like, it's the image and the brand building of the company. Reactions are very strong in both directions, in all areas. And then you can see that it also affects the right-hand side, where the behavior, the short-term behavior of this attitude that you have can be more or less positive or negative. Conclusion here is that it's definitely so that it's more difficult to get let's say, a positive behavior from the attitudes than it is to have. You risk very often a harsher negative reaction from the image that people have of your company. When it comes to employees, you can see that in their behavior they are extreme. In a positive situation, they are very increased motivational. And in a negative situation, they are also very much going downwards in a decreased motivation. Probably this kind of extreme reaction from employees has to do with the feeling of pride and or shame of the company. So it's a very strong personal feeling that comes through there. Then, just as an example, we can of course try to influence. If you have a situation, you can influence the results in behavior and image by counteracting. I mean, giving positive arguments or explaining, giving further explanations. This is just an example of shareholder reactions to the issue of minimum wages. If you pay more than minimum wages, you are on the positive side. If you pay less or pay only minimum wages, then you're on the negative side. If we make no arguments, you see the numbers here, 27 positive or minus 39. But using a positive argument, you can actually increase this. But the risks on the negative side are stronger and bigger. This is, of course, among other things, because mass media have a tendency to help create, let's say, more attention around negative situations. So the importance is being prepared here. You can influence results with good communication. But it's certainly so that if you can't argue for taking a certain risk, then you should not take it. We at Tele2, we are now having increased the knowledge about stakeholder opinions. We have a number of quantified results. We need now to bring that together with the own company priorities, so that we can actually have a basis for decision making at Tele2 specifically. So we would now like to complement this general study that has been done so far with specific Tele2 studies, especially regarding investors and customers. We have a fairly good view on the employees already. We need to complement the study, and that is actually what we plan to do. So I just want to tell you that we need to know much more about the stakeholders, and this is a work that we have started. It's not my intention to go through all the numbers here, because it would lead too far. The important message to you is that we are working on this in a structured way with the help of this established model, and we will take it to a specific Tele2 arena for the things that for us are important, and we will certainly also try to establish this type of modeling and studies in other countries where Tele2 is active, so that we have a full picture. So that is basically the message. We go from listening to words and opinions, and we go to trying to measure this. And this will certainly be driven from our working group on this subject, and be reported back to the board in its different forms. So, thank you for the attention.